This woman was one of the biggest names in the gospel music industry. Her voice carried power, healing, and worship. She gained massive recognition across Africa and beyond. She was made, she was established. But she made one terrible mistake, and that one single mistake made her lose everything, including her life. She married her worst enemy. This is the heartbreaking story of Osinachi Nwachukwu, a woman who rose from humble beginnings to becoming one of the most anointed gospel voices in Nigeria. In this documentary, I'll unveil the struggle she faced before her demise. My name is Prince Theophilus, and this is Fame and Fallout. To understand the story of Osinachi Nwachukwu, let's go back to the very beginning. Osinachi was born November 1979 in Abia State, Nigeria. She was born a twin. Her sister's name is Amarachi. From childhood, the two girls were inseparable. They grew up from a poor but God-fearing family. Life for them was not easy. Food was not always on the table. But while they lacked money, they had faith in God. The family lived in humility. Their father, a devoted man, raised them to love God and the church and believe in the things of God. Their mother taught them how to sing hymns, and those hymns become a soundtrack of their childhood. Even as a little girl, Osinachi's voice stood out. Her teachers would call her forward to lead morning devotion in school. Her classmates would stop playing just to hear her sing. It was clear this girl was special, but no one could ever predicted how her voice could carry her. Osinachi grew up shy. She was not the type that chased fame. She only wanted to serve God. As a teenager, she joined the church choir. It was there she discovered her true calling, not just to sing, but to minister. She began to develop a unique style. Her voice was deep, emotional, and spiritual. She sang in Igbo, her native language, with raw power of God. Her song weren't entertainment, they were prayers. People began to notice her. Pastors invited her to lead worship in their churches. Church programs begged for her presence. Slowly, the little girl from Abia was becoming a name in the gospel music industry. But still, she was unknown to the world. But talent alone wasn't enough. The Nigerian gospel musical industry back then was almost invisible. There were no proper record labels for gospel singers. Pastors expected you to sing as a service to God, and opportunities were scarce. For years, Osinachi was just a backup singer. She ministered in small churches, crusades, and conferences. Many times, she wasn't paid a dime. She would travel overnight by bus to minister in distant states. She would sleep in church benches because she couldn't afford an hotel. Sometimes, she went hungry. She believed it wasn't about the money. To her, everything was about the ministry. Still, behind her devotion, she was struggling. In 2017, everything changed. A young minister by the name Prosper Ochimana was recording a gospel worship song, so he invited Osinachi to feature in the song based on recommendation. That one decision changed her life forever. In November 2017, they released the song, and that song is Ekwueme. When the song was released, it exploded. Ekwueme became an anthem across Africa. In churches, crusades, weddings, funerals, everywhere, people were singing to it. On YouTube, the video gathered millions of views. Till today, it has over 70 million views. But the real star of that song was Osinachi's voice. When she cried Ekwueme with a raw Igbo accent, people felt it in their bone. It was like an angel was speaking directly to God on behalf of people. Almost overnight, Osinachi became a gospel superstar. Her name was on every lip. Her voice became a sound of revival in Nigeria and beyond. That song was a revival anthem. Osinachi became a household name. A quiet gospel singer was now a star. Pastors wanted her to minister on their platforms, and unlike before, they were ready to pay her. So she was making money by this time. She began traveling across Nigeria to Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and even other African countries. At every crusade, her presence was electrifying. The moment she took the mic, the crowd would go silent. And when she starts singing, people will break down in tears and worship God. After Ekwueme, the doors finally opened. She featured in more powerful songs. She sang on Narekele with Pastor Paul Eneche. She also ministered on You Know They Use Me Play. Each song carried her voice like fire. Every church in Nigeria wanted her to come and minister. her schedule became full. By the late 2010s, Osinachi had reached her peak. She ministered in Demise International Gospel Center in Abuja, one of the largest churches in Nigeria. Dr. Paul Enete himself endorsed her ministry, giving her a massive platform.
We traveled to Abuja and I joined Demise Church. From that Demise Church, that was just exactly the place God announced me through Daddy Paul Enete.
She was on posters, flyers, and television broadcasts. Her voice was everywhere, from city crusade to remote village and churches. On YouTube, her live ministration video ranked millions of views. She became the go-to voice for deep worship. Even abroad, Nigerians in diaspora will invite her. In London, in US, in Canada, Osinachi was ministering across borders, and the testimony was coming unstoppable.
When that song was singing, when I was singing the song, that somebody that was sick got healed instantly. I didn't even know.
People said her voice carried something different. It wasn't just melody, it was the power of God. She was made, she was established. To the world, Osinachi was the definition of success, but this is where the story takes a dark turn. Osinachi was doing well with her career, but in her private life, things were not the way they seemed. Osinachi was married to Pastor Peter Nwachukwu. On paper, he was a man of God, a minister, a husband, and a manager. But behind closed doors, he was something worse than a monster. Osinachi's career became a threat to her husband. He did not like the fact that she was getting all the fame and all the accolade. He felt he was supposed to be the leader, the star, and the one making all the money. He wanted all the attention to be on him.
He's envious, he's a jealous type. In fact, he wants everything to come to him.
Because in Africa, they have the illusion that the man must become the head of the family. So he dabbled into music too, but he never made it. When music didn't work for him, he presented himself as Osinachi's manager and husband. He handled all her bookings, collected honorariums, and controlled her finances.
It's the mom that runs around. She goes for her gospel music, bring back the money. In fact, if the money is paid through cash, through a bank account, it's paid to his account.
But in private, he was violent and controlling man. Now, I'm not just telling stories, but I have a personal encounter with this man. In 2021, a gospel artist reached out to me all the way from France. They wanted to feature Osinachi Nwachukwu on a song. The artist was so excited because they loved her voice. So I personally reached out to her, but her husband responded. And from the very first conversation, I saw a side of him that many people later confirmed was true. This man was very difficult. He placed huge demands. He charged us very high fee just to feature her. But my client was desperate. They truly wanted Osinachi's voice on that song. After the recording, Peter gave us another condition. He said the only way we can shoot the video was for my client to travel all the way from France to Abuja. He refused to allow Osinachi to travel anywhere else. He insisted that no other videographer can shoot that video. He said the only person that can shoot that video was his own personal cameraman. We had no choice. My client spent over $5,000 to meet his demand. And after all the sacrifices and everything, that video was terrible because the videographer that came from him was not a professional. It was poorly done and we had to shoot it again. Peter frustrated the entire process with impossible rules and crazy demands. This is the final outcome of the video. Not only did this man control his wife, but he allegedly took all her money. Osinachi, despite singing for thousands of audience, was left with nothing. Sometimes she had no pocket money for herself. Her family claimed he abused her physically. Her own children later testified in court that their father would beat their mother. He would even lay her down for the children to also beat her.
Their dad used to beat their mom, and their mom was always sad. She would always sad and thinking he would beat her and fling her off. He doesn't spare them himself, that he gathered them in the room and will be beating them.
It was humiliation of the highest order. Not only that, sometimes he would lock her outside of the house, the same house Osinachi is paying for. She would sleep outside in cold, shivering. Sometimes she would sleep in her neighbor's house because her husband would not allow her to sleep in her own house. The man was jobless and made living off his wife. He isolated his wife from her own family, including her own twin sister. She has no right to call or visit her own family.
My mother called and Peter picked the phone. I will never forget what he told my mother. He said, "Who is calling?" Like he doesn't know it is my mother. Peter doesn't want to see my mother or any of her family members, including my brother.
And her family cannot also visit her. According to Osinachi's mother, after their marriage, she did not set eye on her daughter for 8 years. Even if she gives birth, she only hear it from people.
Throughout her stay in the marriage, she had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. But my mother was not allowed to come for omugwo for any of these children.
Sometimes he would stop her from attending certain programs. He decided which invitation she can accept and the one she should not accept. She had to sneak her to attend certain programs. Her sister Favor revealed that sometimes pastor would send her money for transport, but her husband would keep it and she would never say it. There were also reports of physical abuse, beatings, insults, and emotional torment. Despite everything, Osinachi kept quiet. Why? Because in her mind, divorce was worse than abuse. According to her, marriage is for better or worse. I don't want to bring shame to the body of Christ. Her sister said she would complain of pain, but always refused to leave. Why? Because she believed divorce was a sin. Osinachi held on to the church teachings. What God has joined together, let no man put asunder. Her mother would advise her to leave the marriage, but she would refuse. Instead, she would pray. She believed that one day her husband would change. But the pain only grew worse. In early 2002, Osinachi's health began to fail. She was rushed to the hospital with chest pain and internal injuries. At first, her family thought it was sickness. As doctors examined her, they saw signs of repeated trauma. But even on her sick bed, she refused to speak out. She never admitted to the abuse. Then on April 8, 2022, the world had the worst news ever. The angelic voice went silent forever. At 42, Osinachi Nwachukwu died in Abuja. The news of his death spread like wildfire. The gospel industry froze. Social media was filled with tears and tributes. Her fans could not believe it. Then came the news that she had cancer or she died of cancer. But then, the story changed and the truth emerges. Within days, her family member came out with a shocking revelation. Her twin sister Marachi told the press, she said, "My sister did not die of cancer. She died as a result of the kick her husband gave her on her chest." Her children confessed to the police that her father beat their mother regularly. Her twin sister Marachi said, Osinachi once ran away but returned after pastor begged her. Her mother cried on live television blaming Peter for the death of her daughter. The story shook Nigeria. Peter was arrested on April 11, 2022 and he was charged with 23 counts including culpable homicide and spousal abuse. Suddenly, the woman, Ekwueme, became a symbol of domestic violence in Nigeria. Churches were forced to face tough questions. How many women were suffering in silence and hiding in faith? How many pastors had told women to pray and endure instead of running to safety? The case dragged on for years. Our children testify. Our sisters testify. Doctors gave reports of internal bleeding and wounds. Our husband denied everything. He insisted that his wife died of cancer. This is a video of him.
I not get the whole world because I've suffered a lot. Please. I've suffered. I abandoned. What killed my wife is lungs, cancer of the lungs. What killed my wife? I didn't kill my wife. Cancer of the lungs is what killed my wife. Osinachi Nwachukwu. So I'm suffering for what I didn't pass through. What I don't know.
But the evidence was heavy. Finally, in April 2025, the court delivered judgment. Peter was found guilty of culpable homicide and he was sentenced to death by hanging. Her death forced churches to face reality. Pastors like Paul Eneche declare that no one should stay in an abusive marriage. He said it is better to be single and alive than married and dead. Christians all over Nigeria use our story to speak against domestic violence. Gospel artists cried openly. Frank Edward, Nathaniel Bassey, and many others said her death was one of the most painful tragedies in the gospel history. Now, this is a lesson. Never stay in an abusive relationship or marriage. No matter how in love you are with that person, if that man raises his hand on you, run. Forget about church doctrine or righteousness. Forget about what God has joined together. If it's not working, run for your life. You have only one life to live. Don't let anyone take it away from you. If you love stories like this, you might also like to watch the truth behind the death of Mohbad. Click here to watch it right away, or click the playlist to listen to more stories like this. And if you are new here, don't forget to subscribe, turn on the bell button so you don't miss other amazing stories like this one. My name is Prince Theophilus, and thank you for watching.